A Pikeville man is arrested for rape and incest. And today's profile of Mountaintop Media's journalists features a man who usually stays behind the scenes. I'm Nick Collum, and this is the Mountaintop Daily. A Pikeville man is in jail after his stepdaughter ran away from home and told a friend it was because he had been raping her and her sisters. Pikeville police became involved when a woman called to report she suspected her daughter's 13-year-old friend was being sexually abused. Immediately after that call, the 13-year-old girl's parents called police to report she had run away. Police went to the family's home on Bill King Hollow to investigate. In interviews, 3 girls reported years of rape, sodomy, and sexual abuse by their stepfather, 37-year-old John Yelton. Yelton was taken into custody, and when interviewed by police, he reportedly admitted the allegations. He is now charged with 3 counts each of incest, first-degree rape, first-degree sodomy, and first-degree sexual abuse. Because 2 of the victims are younger than 12, Yelton faces sentences of 20 years to life if convicted of the incest, rape, and sodomy charges involving them. He is being held in the Pike County Detention Center on a $50,000 cash bond. This week, we have been introducing you to the people who bring you the news here at Mountaintop Media. The subject of today's profile is a little different from our previous stories, as he rarely appears on camera. Despite that, he is just as involved in bringing you the news each day. Sheldon introduces us to Mountaintop Media's news director, Ralph Davis.
More than 3 decades. That's how long Mountaintop Media news director Ralph Davis has been a journalist. But his true tenure began years before that.
I guess growing up, it was pretty evident which way I was going to go. I began reading the newspaper pretty much around my middle school years. It started off just being interested in the high school football team, wanting to see, well, those were the days that Haywood was coaching Prestonsburg, and they were always on their way to the playoffs and always one of the top teams in the state, and I always wanted to see what the newspapers were saying about them. And from there, I had a fascination with politics, and I would start reading that. In presidential election years, I'd take 3 newspapers a day with me, just so I could see what everybody was saying about every candidate. And still, when I graduated high school, I thought I'd go to college and then law school. But I changed my mind on law school pretty much at the very end of my college career, and wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do after that, but I knew I could always write. I'd won awards in school as a writer. I was always told by my professors that I was a good writer. So I sought out a newspaper job and haven't stopped since.
In his late 30s, the health-conscious Davis thought to better his physical well-being and looked to one of his favorite pastimes growing up in Prestonsburg, cycling. But he doesn't go at it alone. His dog, Mishto, gives him plenty of company.
Well, in news, I've always had a strong interest in health, especially looking at when they release the county health rankings every year. And Appalachia's always near the bottom in a lot of categories that we shouldn't be. And I found myself guilty of many of those same things. And so about the time I was, I think I just turned 38. And I stepped on the scale and I was shocked at how heavy I was, and I knew, I'm going in the wrong direction. And pretty soon I'm going to be 40. I started looking at ways to try to help my health. And from there I went on to, I experimented with a couple of different things as far as exercise went. But then I remembered I always loved riding my bike as a kid, going all the way back to when I was 4 or 5 years old, and I got an Evel Knievel bicycle for my birthday.
News director, managing editor, associate editor, and reporter, Davis has worn many hats in the world of news around the region, but he has one place he now considers home.
I worked in newspapers for 23 years, and one day a fellow used to work here by the name of Al Greenfield, a lot of people probably would remember, called me up out of the blue while I was working at the Floyd County Times at that time. And he said he wanted to meet me for breakfast and just talk about some things. And He told me about how they were starting a television station here in Pikeville. They wanted to start a news program, and they were looking for somebody to lead that. And he said, I wasn't picking up on the hint, but he kept saying, do you know anybody who'd be interested in that? And I said, let me think about it. And I called him back the next day. I went home and I was thinking, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard of, and I want to be a part of it.
Luckily for us, Davis says informing viewers and readers to the best of his ability will never falter. Reporting for Mountaintop News, I'm Sheldon Compton.
Coming up after the break, the countdown is on for this year's Hillbilly Days Festival, now just 7 days away. We'll tell you what you need to know about this year's event when the Mountaintop Daily continues. But first, sports and weather.
For this Mountaintop Sports Report for Thursday, I'm Brittany Rowe reporting. On Friday, Mountaintop Sports will have coverage of the All-A sectional baseball game at Davis Park at 7 p.m. Pikeville will battle Raceland on Mountaintop TV, our free Mountaintop TV app, and our Mountaintop Sports Facebook page. For the latest area high school and college sports news, remember to check us out at mountain-topsports.com or on Facebook, X, and TikTok. Reporting for Mountaintop Sports, I'm Brittany Rowe.
When the government took Social Security away from honest Eastern Kentuckians, Attorney Ned Pillersdorf got the hearings declared unconstitutional. When the women guards were harassed at Little Sandy Jail, Ned fought back, securing a $1 million verdict at trial. And when the state tried to shut down Cordia School, Ned fought back and kept the school open. Attorney Ned Pillersdorf fights for the underdog, and he's ready to fight for you.
Hey everyone, it's Kristen Mulcahy, Marketing Manager for Appalachian Wireless. Are you ready for spring? Well, we are at Appalachian Wireless. Right now, we've got great deals on the latest smartphones with discounts that make upgrading easier than ever, whether you're due for an upgrade or just ready to switch and save. April is the perfect time to get more for your money. Don't miss out. Visit your nearest Appalachian Wireless retail location or shop online at AppalachianWireless.com. Because we are you, we are Appalachian Wireless.
1 week from today, downtown Pikeville will be overrun with hillbillies as the 2025 Hillbilly Days Festival kicks off. I spoke with the city today to find out what you need to know about this year's event. The 48th Annual Hillbilly Days Festival is only a week away, and the city of Pikeville has been making preparations in the background. With roughly 150,000 people moving through the city, the streets will be filled with live music, vendors, carnival rides, and much more. Executive Director of Main Street Tourism and Community Relations, Jill Dotson, tells us more about what the city has planned for this year.
Since 1977, people have been coming for this festival that was started by a wonderful group of Shriners who really wanted to help children. And it has grown into one of the largest festivals in the state of Kentucky. And this year, there are so many things for people to enjoy, some oldies but goodies, and then some brand new things this year. So one of the things that you'll be able to do is to stop by the City of Pikeville Tourism booth, which is located at 773 Hambley Boulevard. So we'll have a large booth in front of our normal building. And there you can find all kinds of information about the festival. We're working really closely with the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll have maps there of all the locations of vendors and specialty events that will go on downtown, kind of like an information center. So we're a one-stop shop.
More than just a festival, Hillbilly Days is meant to celebrate Pikeville's culture. Many people who grew up in Pikeville always come back to their home to see how the city has evolved over time.
I think Hillbilly Days serves as kind of like a reunion for a lot of people that have moved away from Pikeville and are coming back home to visit with friends and family. A lot of people take vacation days from their work who live out of state to come back in and enjoy everything that we have. I think right now, as I've started to see some vendors roll into town, certainly the carnival is already making its way into town well before they start to get set up next week. But I think most importantly, it is just visiting with the people that come into Pikeville that maybe haven't been here before, or people that haven't been here in a long time, to get their perspective on what the city has and what the city looks like and what the city has, how the city has changed over the years. we are always thrilled to hear those comments of people that grew up here years ago that maybe not have been here in 20 or 30 years, and they come back and they're amazed with the growth and the progression.
That will do it for this edition of the Mountaintop Daily. Be sure to check us out at 6 p.m. every weekday on Mountaintop TV, the Mountaintop TV app, and the Mountaintop News Facebook page. With your Mountaintop Daily, I'm Nick Collum for Mountaintop News.